The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
When the Raiders signed cornerback Prince Amukamara, it didn't move me much. I'm too excited about Trayvon Mullen making his jump to year 2 and first-round draft pick Damon Arnett. I also like what I saw from Keyshawn Nixon and Nevin Lawson last year, and want to see what they can bring this year. But since a few of you want to know how Amukamara fits, here we are. It's not a good idea to expect an All-Pro or Pro Bowl season out of Amukamara at this point. The 2011 first-round pick hasn't had one of those in the 9 years he's been in the NFL. As a matter of fact, it's not even a good idea to expect him to start. The Raiders love Mullen and Arnett. But Amukamara is an excellent depth piece that fits the Raiders system, as he is an aggressive corner that loves to bump and run. If all else fails and he ends up having to play on the opposite side of Mullen, he's at least a much better option than Daryl Worley. But the Raiders signed him because his experience is good for the Raiders' young cornerback room. Mullen's rookie year didn't start out pretty at all. In the season opener, then Broncos receiver Emmanuel Sanders gave him that work, beating him deep and for a touchdown. But Mullen didn't stop there. He learned and started to get his hands on some footballs as the season went on. Then in week 11 against the Cincinnati Bengals, Mullen got his first career interception. And from there, he would continue to play well. In week 13 against the Kansas City Chiefs, he locked down speedster Tyreek Hill, holding him to 2 catches for 19 yards on 5 targets. So we should be excited about him as well as Arnett, the 2020 number 19 overall pick. While Okuda got all the shine, Arnett was just as good last year. As a matter of fact, he might have been a little better. He gave up the lowest passer rating into his one-on-one coverage of anyone in this draft class. Then there was the 40 debacle. That 4.56 he ran at the combine had 11 100ths of a second on the clock before he even moved. As far as depth goes, Nevin Lawson looked good in spots last year. After the Tennessee Titans bombed on Worley for a 91-yard touchdown, they tried Lawson deep, and it didn't work. He's going to be in the fight for playing time in 2020. Keyshawn Nixon also showed he was good depth last year. When asked to put it on tape, he did. So where's Amukamara's place now going into his 10th year? To show the bad first, he sags way too far off his man in off-man coverage. And he doesn't break on the ball all that well, so he gives up a lot of catches in front of him. Hooks and comebacks are easy work for opposing receivers. With as far off as he plays, you would think he just plays it safe and he doesn't get burnt deep, right? But that's not the case. I'm not sure Amukamara can run down the field with receivers anymore. Another black mark on Amukamara is when he's up close to the line of scrimmage, he always gives up an inside release, which isn't very good. When you give up the inside release like that, that's almost an automatic catch on slants, digs, and posts. And when running the comeback route, receivers are going to make a living breaking inside. In the NFL, giving up an inside release will get you beat inside most of the time. Then of course, that sets you up to overcompensate for it. And when you do, you get hit with a double move and it's bombs over Baghdad. He said he signed with the Raiders because he liked the scheme. So I have to wonder if it's the Bears' scheme that makes him give up those inside releases. All I know is the results are not cool. Now we move on to the good, which is his interest in the running game. He wants to stick his face in there and make a play in the running game. It's not very often that you see ball carriers get away from his tackles. At the very least, he's going to hold on and wait for his friends to arrive. Amukamara is also a good tackler that fights through blocks in the screen game. Easy work. If you want to get a back isolated on a corner in space, Amukamara is not the right guy to do that with. And if you're a tight end trying to show your athleticism by hurdling, he's not the right guy to do that with. When you make a catch and Amukamara is in the area, you are likely to be tackled, and before you get too far. That's a big part of why GM Mike Mayock wanted to sign him. Amukamara is also good for a big play, forcing a fumble after the catch. Yes, that was ultimately ruled a fumble. Amukamara is a good fit for an aggressive bump and run team. Watch this jam. Knocks the receiver off balance and makes him fall. He's all over Devontae Adams here. This is good coverage here as he stays with all the shakes and bakes. Here he's going to hold his man up at the line of scrimmage and run the route with him. Here he's going to allow the inside release again, but he's going to make it work for himself. And here he's going to get back into the play just in time to make it. Here he survives a quadruple move and still serves up the denial. Here he's going to let that inside release work for him again. And here, mirroring's going to work for him. And here he's in off coverage and he's going to get there on Ted Ginn Jr. You guys know Ginn can still run, right? And sometimes he's even good for coming off his man and making a play on the ball. Mullen showed down the stretch of last season that he is capable of being a lockdown corner. And last year, Arnett had the best year of all the corners in the 2020 draft class, yielding the lowest quarterback rating. And he did that with a broken wrist. But he doesn't want you to tell anyone so he can sneak up on people this year. Keyshawn Nixon looked good in spots last year when he was on the field. And so did Nevin Lawson, so the depth is there for the Raiders at corner. And Amukamara gives the Raiders yet another press corner that will give the Raiders excellent depth at the position and impart wisdom to the Raiders' young corners. That makes him good for the Raiders' cornerback room.